And I'll kindly mute yourself if you don't plan to ask any question because of to avoid any kind of background noise. Thank you. So, Sohaib, can we start?
Yes, Prashant, we can.
Okay, so thank you, Sohaib. So, hi guys, good evening. Welcome all to this project guidance session for the Future Ready Talent program. So we have quite a packed agenda for next 1.5 hours roughly. So what we will do is, as we are seeing whatever the trend of the participation in the FRT projects, we thought of having this kind of a guidance session on various stuff. So how the flow of today's agenda for today is that you will have the basic to start with. We will give you some feel of what are the main Azure services which we see people are using across projects and what we believe are the most commonly used services. Because we can understand coming from an education background, just maybe you are overwhelmed with the lot of Azure services. So we will try to expose you to one or two kind of good use cases which can help you kind of decide on the project that you want to run. Yes, there is a background noise coming from, let me see who it is. Guys, please mute yourself if you don't plan to ask a question. Thank you. So next, we will try to give you a few tips on how you can identify a project for your, let's say, submission. And after that, we will look at few of we have chosen 3-4 projects, not because we just looked at some of the projects which have been submitted by your, let's say, friends or your co-participants in this program, and we will try to give you a brief overview of what was the nature of that project and what kind of services they used at all from the whole thing. And then towards the last, we will have a small section on how do you submit project in GitHub, because we are seeing a lot of people are struggling with that, and because of that being wrongly updated, it's a potential reason for your project to be rejected. So we will try to give you some tips, tricks on how do you submit your project on GitHub. And the final 15-20 minutes are for any kind of a Q&A. Of course, if required in intermediate, if at some particular slide, if you want to ask a question exactly relevant to that and you believe it can't wait till the last 20 minutes or so, do stop me and let me know, and we can try to, because the whole point of having this session is to guide you, to mentor you, to help you submit the projects related to the FRT. So without any further ado, let's start our first section of the agenda today, which is Azure services. So just to give you an idea, we can understand this is, by the way, not even 100% of the services. We have just tried to give you an idea of, let's say, how big is the kind of, let's say, the services that are available. So you have AI/ML services. Let me try to just see if I can just do some zoom in. So you can see if there are, there are services which are related to AI/ML analytics. You have so many services in compute. You have another few in database, in development, security, IoT. So you can see the domain goes and on and on and on, networking, migration, storage. So we totally understand, guys, that because of seeing such a big plethora of services, it may be overwhelming at time to kind of, decide upon what exactly to look for. So next half an hour or so, we will just try to expose you to some of the services. And in one way, they may be as complex as they are, but overall, considering the cloud principles, how easily we can do different stuff. Okay, so I see a question from Souvik here. He's asking what exactly is Azure? Okay, so fine. So guys, I hope you are all aware of this program. This FRT program is a partnership between the ENY, the Microsoft, and the AICTE and few other organizations for that matter. And Azure is the brand name for the Microsoft Cloud Platform. So they call it Azure. So if this is a question which is coming from you, Sovik, are you one of the student in any FRT as part of the FRT program? So anyway, to answer your question, Azure is a Microsoft. So we have various other providers of public cloud. Microsoft call their public cloud services under the brand name of Azure. I hope that is clear. Now, in general, in cloud, let's be aware they have a model. This you will normally see. So I just wanted to quickly set the context. In general, when anybody wants to run any kind of, let's say, workload, you have an option as a, again, this is not an option for an individual, but mostly organizations have their own data centers and they may have their on-prem, let's say, private cloud or their own thing, which is being represented on the left side of the house. But what cloud or the public cloud gives you is various kind of services, which is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. You will hear these three words. Again, mostly if I will ask what we have seen in the what existing people are submitting, people are using PaaS services. Okay, so I will more focus on PaaS services because these are relatively easy to use. If I just want to give an analogy on this from something that we can relate with, it is like, if our requirement is to build a house, the most, the example of would it be that it will be most tough to do. It may be most expensive, but technically you can buy a land and build a bungalow on it. So technically that is in the analogy of cloud is something like on-prem, which means you decide where do you want to put your data center and everything. So again, it gives you a lot of advantages and control over what you can do. But practically it comes with a very high cost initially and overall maintenance. While the cloud providing models, the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS are advanced models. So in the same analogy of house building, and IaaS would be that rather than you building the house, you go to a builder who's building an apartment, and in that apartment, you take a flat. Now, of course, it is not the same look and feel, and it will not be the same experience as a, in that sense. Again, the analogy may not be, guys, again, 100% true, but just to give you an idea of what is the IaaS, PaaS, and a SaaS, I'm just setting this expectation that IaaS example would be like in the housing example would be something like you buy an apartment and now you can do interiors as per your choice. So you can see you are getting more options, especially with respect to interiors, but a lot of the common things like your electricity connection, like your water connection and various other things, the let's say the lift or the elevators and the stairs and everything is built as part of infrastructure. And because they are being shared amongst everybody, you share the cost, but you don't pay it the upfront. So in that sense, infrastructure as a service is like rather than having your own data center, you go for a virtual machine of a cloud provider like Azure. You start a VM, you install your software, so you never get to see the software or see the hardware because it is hosted in some data centers which is owned by Microsoft or Azure for that matter. So they are relatively giving you a lot of flexibility, the IaaS model, but again, a lot of overhead related to management because you need to manage the OS on it and patching on it. Moving forward, the PaaS service, which is the primary focus here, and we see even industry heavily uses PaaS service most of the time, and it is very good that we are seeing students are also using various PaaS services. So we will talk about few services, but building the analogy further of house, PaaS service is like rather than taking an apartment which is bare shell, if you can buy an apartment which is technically having even interiors done and your kitchen is modular and everything, and all you need to do is, again, there is something here like you go for an Airbnb kind of a thing, okay, which is like you are taking an apartment for a long term. You don't need to bother about anything. You just pay for it for whatever time you are using. So you can see the comfort level is much more higher in like you go for a, what is called a service apartment or an Airbnb kind of a thing, vis-a-vis taking an apartment from scratch and building it, which the analogy is IaaS. So in PaaS, let's say an example of an IT world would be that let's say if you wanted to run a web application, Now in IaaS, what you will need to do, you will need to take a VM of your choice. You will need to install the CPU. You will need to check how many you need. You need to decide RAM, hard disk, OS. You will need to install software on it, whether a Tomcat or a Apache 2 or whatever IIS if it's Windows. And on top of it, you will need to install your application. Vis-a-vis, if your workload that you plan to create as part of your project is, let's say, a web service, you can very easily use a web app kind of a thing, which we will be showing you shortly. How fast within seconds, or like say, I would say within minutes, I would be able to have a public website up and running for you all to experience. And I will share the link here. And in general, you will see that it will be working for any of you. Okay, so again, that can be achieved by an IaaS model by having your own VM, but you will see PaaS is much more convenient and much less management overhead. And SaaS is a pretty advanced model, not much in focus for today's session, but this is like Office 365 is a perfect example of SaaS where you are just getting, let's say, Office, Word applications or Teams applications over the software as a service model. This is even higher end. So the analogy of house, if I want to move further, SaaS is more like checking into an hotel and just go in, you just order the food and it comes, you need internet, it is delivered to, it is supplied to you through the hotel, you have a TV service, you have everything available to you. So in that sense, it has a different costing model and everything. So we will primarily be focusing on 2 or 3 PaaS services based on whatever we have seen that different students are using. Mainly, we will look at the web app. To start with, we will look at what is called a web app. Okay, it is a PaaS service of Azure, which is to host a web application of your choice. So on purpose, I will take a simple HTML web application. Now your web application as part of your project could have more complex Java or whatever other Python and any other Flask or whatever framework. So a lot of frameworks are supported. For the sake of simplicity out here, we will try to show you mainly of what is called an app service, or it is also called web app. So we will take help of and I will build a static website for you. There are other services like the virtual machine. This is like an infrastructure as a service model, storage account for any kind of storage needs. Virtual network is more for, let's say, if you want to create your own data center kind of a feeling. And we are also seeing people are using SQL database, which is another PaaS service. So remember, if you want to run a SQL database, one option is that you start a virtual machine. On that, install a MySQL or a Oracle or a whatever you want to use, like something like a maybe a MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, MongoDB, MariaDB, whatever you need. But again, that will have a lot of overhead. But if you want just a plain simple relational database like a MySQL, you can just start SQL database as a PaaS service, and within minutes, you will have a working database to your, let's say, to your disposal. You can just start creating tables and linking them to your applications and start running the show. And function is a PaaS service, which is more if your use case is like an event driven kind of a thing where you, let's say some event happens and you want it to get triggered. Somebody uploaded a picture on a Facebook page or on Instagram and you wanted to know, or somebody put a comment, like these are what is called events, and you want something to get triggered. So in that case, rather than having a full-time EC, let's say a virtual machine running or a web app running, you could have a function app kind of a thing running. But anyway, considering the current scope, again, your project could have a use case for an event-driven architecture, but mostly just to keep things simple today. Now we will move into just explaining you how you can create a simple website within few clicks of a button using. So we will be using some tools like Visual Studio Code and all that. I will be explaining you some parts of it just to give you an idea how you can create a web application. So we will go into a demo just to give you that how you can create a website. Okay, so let me open the tool, and in general, we will try to look at it. So let's say, so again, I will start from scratch just to give you an idea. So our problem statement is I have some code to my disposal and I want it to be hosted as a, so some kind of a message. Okay, again, I didn't want to take a hello world. So what I did, I created a GitHub repository. I can create it right now just to give you an idea so that we will build on top of it how you need to submit your project. So what I will do right now in front of you, I will go to github.com. OK, if you are not aware of what is github.com, you can go to the e-learning things that has been shared with you as part of this program. There is a full things on GitHub. Please go over it. It's a source code management repository. You get a free account on it. You get some kind of student benefits. Please activate them as per the guidelines on the FRT website, and you will see a lot of things out here. I already have, let's say, a GitHub account. To save time, I already have it. I have created it. I will show you that I thought of some idea and everything. And in general, let's say I just want to create a repository. So repository is like a folder for my project. So let me name my project. So I will go to the repository section as an example, and I will say create a new repository. Click on this new button, and very simply, I will create, let's say, FRT project. OK, so I want to, of course, you should be naming your repository depending on whatever is your use case. It's a good practice to kind of give it a good descriptive name, but I will give it something like a FRT project, and I will create a public repo. And there are a few things as part of your e-learning you can do, but creating a repository is as simple as giving it a name and saying create repository. So this creates a space where you can put your files, folders as part of your project building eventually, because remember, you will need to share the link of this repository as part of the project submission. So it is very important that you keep the right name. Look at the e-learning videos and you will find out how you can. It's a pretty straightforward tool, how to create an account and everything. And this is like you have a repository build. After that, if you want, you can use the command line interface to help you. So technically it needs some kind of a thing. You can install, if you are working in Windows, there is a software for Git. If you are working in Linux, there is a software for Git. So let's say for Windows, I can just quickly explain you. All you need to do is to work on it. You need to go and look for download, let's say Git for Windows, and practically you will be able to get a Windows downloader for you, just like any other software. You get this, you just download this for whatever Windows version you have, and a 64-bit, 32-bit, and you will have a working software of Git. Along with this, because I am working with Visual Studio Code, which is like a integrated development environment for a lot of Microsoft Azure related things, it's a good environment to support, and we are seeing students are using it. So overall, I think your college must be having it already enabled, but you can go for, it's a free software. All you need to do is go for Visual Studio Code download. This software again supports Mac, Linux, Windows. You can download your own version of software and everything depending on whatever OS you are using. All these software, whether the GitHub or the Git, the local version of Git, the Studio Code, everything is free to you as students and in general. So overall, once you have it, all you need to do is kind of, let's say, have some kind of your project. I will show you how using Visual Studio Code you can practically. So I will start a Visual Studio Code. I already have it installed. So all I will need to do is, let's say, you can see right now the Visual Studio Code is installed for me. Git is installed for me. And practically all I need to do is, let's say, if I want to work on this repo that I just created, you can follow these steps which are written here: git init, git add, git remote add. When you will go over git sessions, you will find all these commands. These are commands to push your files. All of these are available here. Yeah.
Sir, your screen is not visible, sir.
It's not visible. Can anybody else confirm? Because from my side, I don't see any issues.
So it is visible.
No, it's visible.
Right. It is visible, sir.
Guys, for whoever is not visible, I would request you to, thank you guys for the confirmation. Kindly maybe log out and log in again, because from my side, there is no issues. Okay. I have shared the screen. Okay, it should be visible. So I will move forward in interest of time. So fine. So rather than working with this project, I will now move to my own project, which I created some time back for this demo purpose. So I will go to my repo, but I have explained you already. So I have just 1 hour back only I created a project because I didn't want it to work from scratch. It is a very simple project. all it has is a HTML file. OK, so basically it says some kind of a message. I changed this message. So it says welcome to project guidance session on 14th Jan 2022. So this is, let's say my project is a HTML page. Now remember, your website or whatever you want to host could be very different. That is not relevant here. Out here we are trying to explain you how can you host a website on Azure, let's say app service, or what is called a static website. So basically we needed some code. So on purpose to keep things simple, let's say I created this site. Now this could be Java code, this could be Python code, depending on whatever you were doing or whatever framework you were using. You will have maybe 10 files, 20 files, 100 files, further folders, icons, JPGs, whatever, doesn't matter. That depends on the website you are trying to create. So basically once you have it, let's say I have this site already opened here. So I opened this folder in Visual Studio Code. And right now I will explain you that I will go to Azure Platform also. So the good thing is Visual Studio Code has plugins for installing into Git, OK, installing into directly services into Azure. So you don't even need to do operations here. Technically, of course, this is the landing page of, let's say, Azure. OK, so let me try to log out and show you again. So normally what you will do is, if you want to experience Azure as part of your student benefits, you are getting a free account on Azure also to practice some of the services. So you need to go to the site called portal.azure.com, log in into your account. It will send you with whatever the user ID password you create. Let me just, this is a multi-factor authentication happening as I'm approving my login. So it approves and you reach the landing page of Azure. Remember the portal for the Microsoft. OK, let's see, try Face ID again. OK. Yeah, it gets logged in. So you will read some kind of a page from which, depending on, let's say, if you want to start a SQL service, you want to start a web. So you will need to know when you will go over the self-learning things for Azure. You have a lot of videos to go over and those courses that have been provided to you through the FRT website. Once you will go, you will slowly start getting familiar with these. But just to save time in general, if you want to create a resource, you just create a resource. Let's say choose whatever resource you want to create, like something like, let's say I want to create a static web app or something, which is what I'm going to show. So all you need to do is create this from here and then load. I will try to show you even better way. OK, if you have an IDE like Visual Studio Code, I will right now what I will do on purpose, I have installed the plugins for so that my IDE, which is Visual Studio Code, can work with the Azure. So I have already authenticated myself. So if you will see, in general, I get this Azure. OK, how do I get this Azure? By default, you may not have this Visual Studio Code having Azure as a thing here. All you need to do is go to extensions, look for, let's say, Azure. So let's say I wanted a Azure static app. So if you will look for a plugin for it, you will find a plugin for, let's say, static web app. You go here and say install, and practically it will get installed and this portal will come. Sorry, not this portal, this option will come. And once you have this, I will show you how easy it is to create a new static web app from here. OK, so all I need to do is, let's say I want to host this website, coming back to my code. OK, so let's say this is my HTML code, which I showed you. And this is what I want to host on a web app, so that when the web will get hosted, I will get a public domain name, which I will share with all of you right now, and you will see it having the message, which will be something like welcome to this. OK, and we will change it and show you. So this is the beauty of this. OK, so let's say you wrote your code in whatever language, Python, .NET, whatever language you chose, Java. After that, you want to host your website. Anybody asking a question? OK, so I will come to this plugin. I will click, sorry. So I will click on this plus icon here and I will say something like choose, there is Azure Pass concept. I will give it a name, my demo static web page. OK, something like that. I will give it some name and I will choose. So this is the usual concept. Any resource you want to create in Azure, you have to choose a region. So I will let it choose Azure region. Then all these frameworks are supported: Angular, React, Vue.js, Blazors, and you have Gatsby, Hugo, VuePress, and others. What I will do is, because mine is a simple website, I will just go to other. give it the path of my place where I have everything in the source folder. Again, no build is required and all that. So very simple website. So just with 3 or 4 clicks, let me show you what has happened. OK, so technically just with these clicks, if I will go to Azure, OK, let me try to show you a new resource group will get created here very soon. Now, resource group is again another concept of Azure, which every resource that you create, just like if you create any file, it gets created in some kind of a folder. So you can think of resource group like a folder kind of a concept. So the resource we are creating is a static web app, but it is getting created in some kind of a resource group. So you see, I just refresh this and you can see this my demo static web page. Now this has been created by this plugin. OK, so I don't need to do anything. Practically even the resource group, the resource, the static web app, and posting my source code into the static web app and giving me just an endpoint portal. That is all I need. OK, if I will just wait here and you will see if I will move inside this, you will see resource getting created, which is static web app. And if I will go here, practically if I will try to browse this, originally, it will show you a default page. It's going to take its own time. Remember, my HTML code will also get deployed. For that, by the way, another thing is used, which is called GitHub Actions. So I will try to show you that this is whole philosophy that Microsoft has tried to make our life simple. As developers, if we are developing code, you can see just with clicks of button, I can make it a website. I can even practice what is called continuous integration, continuous deployment. So there is a concept called GitHub Actions. This is also part of your Git learning. You will see that there is some kind of a flow happening where in general, the moment you push your code, automatically your website should take this code and you should see this. You see now this message, welcome to project guidance session on 14th Jan 22. How did this come? Because I specified this. OK, and what it did, it pushed this code to GitHub, and with the help of GitHub Actions, it pushed this code to, let's say, something like the web app that I created. Now let me show you in general. Let's say you did this once and now next day you come and you're trying to enhance something. And let's say if I want to, let's say, put time here. OK, I just want to show you how easy it is to do changes in your website also. Nothing you need to worry about. All you need to do is, let's say I'm just trying to simulate a scenario that I need to change this message. And first, let me show you. I will share this link with all of you. Any of you can try going to this link and this will be working. OK, it is like a public domain website that you have. So I've just shared the link. Do try it and guys do confirm to me that are you able to see the similar page or not if you are in open internet. So I see a question from Avinash. Do we need to specify Azure login? Yes, guys. So there is a process to set it up. When you will look at the documentation, you will find practically when we install this Azure plugin, we have to log in. OK, so all that is part of your documentation. You will see. OK, so you will get to connect. So you need to authenticate with your Azure web app. OK, or Azure account. Otherwise, it doesn't allow you to go. OK. So again, let's see. I hope. OK, the Utkarsh says yes, website is visible. OK, so let me show you guys how easy it is to even change it as an example. OK, so technically you can say, let's say I want to put the time. OK, on 14th January at 4:30 p.m. IST. Right now, all I need to do is I need to save this file as an example, and I will go to, it is automatically linked with Git. So this is like Git add, Git commit, Git push kind of operations. All that I can do sitting in this. So I will just add the file. This is the usual workflow for any file that you change. And I will say commit the file. So let's say updated time component. This is like I'm putting a message. And all I need to do is push these changes to GitHub. Let me show you right now. If I will go to my GitHub and if I will look at this code file, OK, these changes which I just did are not available there. OK, right now there is no time component here because I have just done the changes in my local. Now what I will do is I will say sync the changes, which means send them to remote, which is the GitHub. The moment that will be sent, if I will refresh this file, you will see a time component coming here very soon. OK, let's see. You see it has come. And the whole beauty of this solution is the GitHub Actions will take over now, and they will start deploying these changes into this site very soon. And the whatever link I shared you, if you will refresh it after some time, you will see a time component after this on the same website. OK, so this is like continuous deployment happening. So you can see it's a pretty powerful product in one way. Within minutes, I could show you that I created a site from scratch. Even I updated, and whole of the workflow is working seamlessly. Now, I'm not saying you will have exactly the same experience. There is a lot of setup related things which I did before, but they are not that complex. If you will go over documentation, all it is taking help of is Git as an example, the GitHub action codes, which is automatically getting created, and Visual Studio Code and the relevant plugins of Azure. And of course, on top of it, whatever website you are building, that knowledge you should anyway have, because that is beyond the scope of this course. OK. So technically, this is how easy it is. Any questions? You can keep on pushing your questions on the chat window. There are support people who are answering that. Let's see if the time is updated. You see, I refreshed this, and now whoever had tried it earlier, if you will try, you will also see this message. OK, so practically, this is how you update your website. Fine. So let's see. So this was creating a static website example and practicing DevOps with GitHub Actions. OK, kind of together I showed you. So all tools which were used was, of course, Git, which was a local version. GitHub was another one, which is the website. The GitHub Actions, which is one of the features, automatically it is being used. Visual Studio Code is being used. And of course, various plugins are being used of Azure to authenticate and populate it there. And of course, Azure features like static web app is being used. OK, so resource static web app is one of the service, which is a PaaS service to host your web applications. And there is a resource group concept, and there is a subscription concept. So a lot of learning you will have eventually when you will go over it. But practically, you can see that if everything is set up correctly, it is as easy as I showed you. So this is one of the most common use case which we were seeing students are using websites. So we just wanted to let you know that it's not very difficult to do it. So this is just to excite you to create your own projects. And other thing which we saw based on when we analyze the projects which are successfully submitted by students, we saw that people are trying to use a lot of AI, ML related things and trying to come up with this. So we again thought that we will expose you to another popular service of Azure, which is called Cognitive Service. It has a lot of capabilities, and within clicks of button, you will see that I will try to again show you in a very interesting way that it will do some kind of recognition of the text. It will convert that text. Even there is a speech recognition, which I will show you. OK, it's a very small project. Before this demo, I took maybe max half an hour to create a very basic template of this. So again, it's part of the AI 102 course, which could be part of your this FRT learning program. If you can see it, it should be there technically. Otherwise, you can let us know. So in general, AI services are very easy to use. Again, the whole point of PaaS services is that they make our life simple. So I will show you two kind of services. One is related to, let's say, vision. We will try to see one vision service where what I will do is I will try to give picture to this program, and it will try to tell me what this picture is. OK, so it will try to describe that picture to me. So I will first put a picture which is, let's say, part of this whole program. Then randomly I will pick up a picture from Google. I will download it and will show you how easy it is. OK, so let me just quickly open that program which I wrote. Again, these templates are available on open internet, so it's not something very big. But yes, depending on your problem statement, you may need to kind of build it accordingly, that whatever it is. So let me just open that project. So I will say open. And I will say open recent, and yeah, this one AI 102 engineer. And let me show you quickly the image classification, and we have a .NET code. Sorry, not image classification. It is the image analysis, right? Yeah, so this one. OK, so let me open an integrated terminal. So let me first show you quickly the code which I'm trying to do. OK, so let's see. So guys, again, this is .NET code. I will not go too deep into it. So this is the main program file. So let me quickly show you the code that, again, remember, I have not written it with hand myself. I looked at the documentation available. So there are few things that we have tried to do. So overall, this is just like, Java language or C++, you have main program. There is this try catch is for exception. Overall, you see what we are trying to do is we are trying to get some image called in some folder. After that, we are calling the computer vision client, which is one of the service. I will show you that in this case, what I did, I went to Azure. All I needed to do was create a service which is called cognitive service. OK, it is all encompassing service which gives you all these features related to, let's say, vision, the various related to something like all these features. Let me just quickly highlight to you what all it gives you. OK, so let's say it gives you language, speech, vision, decision. All these kind of AI services can be run using the cognitive service, which is like a flagship service overall doing it. So through this, I can do text recognition also. Right now, I'm running this vision service of image analysis using the same thing. So all I need to do is create this, and creating a PaaS service mostly is very simple. You just need to give a resource group, give it a region, give it some kind of a name, and that's it. You are good to go. So I have already created a resource cognitive service just to save time. So again, this service doesn't need any configuration to start with. So I practically have one cognitive service which is running, and all I need to do is, let's say, give some, just like, I need to authenticate with this cognitive service. So normally there is this endpoint and there is some kind of a key. So you can think of these like user ID, password kind of a thing. So those things I will need to supply at the appropriate place in the .NET program where I'm trying to give some kind of app settings. So I have taken these links for my services, which is the endpoint and the service key. And basically in this program.cs, which is the C# code in the .NET, I am running some functions which are the standard functions of the cognitive service. So you can see this is not a very long code. Technically, it is less than 100 lines. And if I remove the spaces and for everything braces, it is not even 40 lines of code. OK, and just in these many lines, I have achieved that it is reading a file at a high level. You can see it is reading some kind of a file. Let me show you which file it is reading. OK, so it is taking this file which is in this image folder, this file. OK, it's hard coded. Of course, you can parameterize it. So this is the file on which I will run this program, and let's see what the cognitive service can find for me. OK, as an example. So I will do .NET run. So the moment I do .NET run, you see it ran, it did it magic, and it says description, a person walking a dog on a sidewalk. OK, and it is roughly 47% confident. OK, these are all the relative, the AI stuff as to what is your confidence level. But overall, this is the description which it has generated. OK, so just to let you know, it's not that we have hard coded anything. Technically, I can go to, let's say, open Google or something. Let's say, let me take a picture of, let's say, flower bed. OK, just to get an idea, I will take some kind of a flower bed image. So let's say images, or I think I can take it from here also, no problem. OK, let's say this one. OK, so I will save this image as, let's say, flower bed. OK, so I will say save image as, and I will call it demo. OK, so let me give it, I will not give it flower bed or something so that you may think that I've given a name based on which it is understanding. So I will give it a name. It is demo.jpg. And what I will do, I will quickly go to my program where I was specifying streets. I will specify, let's say, demo.jpg. OK. So I have, again, guys, this is hard coding because I wanted to keep simple. A lot of these things can be parameterized, but I have put demo.jpg. It is appearing here and it is this picture. OK, so let's see what our program will say for this. OK, I have not changed anything else. I have only changed the link of the image on which this is running, and I will say .NET run. Let's see what is the description of this. You see, it says a garden with flowers, and confidence level, of course, seems to be only 34%, but that's OK. But you can see it's quite in that sense, just with 30-40 lines of code, rest of the heavy lifting is done by the PaaS service, and you have an example of a vision analytics technically. Okay, so you can do whatever depending on your use case, you can use this. Similarly, quickly, I will try to show you another example of which is, let's say, text analysis service. OK, so let me close this and show you another example of analysis, because we are seeing people are using text analysis, vision and sound. This one, which I will try to do, is it will even have a sound. OK, so what I did on purpose, I took help of again the same cognitive service, and with the help of that, I did speech translation. And again, there is a C# code here. It's a translator kind of a service. Again, either I can give my sound and it will convert it, but just to keep things simple, what I did, I practically took a sound which is something like, where is the station? OK, that is what it is saying. So this kind of a service can be used for converting one language into another. So I have taken the help of again the C# program, and basically there are three options in it, which is French, Spanish and Hindi. OK, so whatever file I will provide to it, it will practically convert into in each of them. OK, so I am providing it a file called station.wav. OK, so let me just show you where is this file. So technically this file would be in, let's say it is speech translation, C# translator, and you have this file. OK, station.wav. So of course, it's a very simple example, so it's not a very long file, but I will try to use this file as an input to kind of give it to my program, and let's see what it does. OK, so let's say I will run this program now. So what this program is doing at a high level, very similar stuff. It is reading the content of this file. It is taking the options from me, and then with the help of the same cognitive service and the speech synthesizer and translation and everything, whatever option I will give it, it will convert it. OK, so let me say .NET run. Now it's asking me for this. So let me say I want to put whatever message you have. I want you to listen to that message, put it into text format, convert it into English format, or not English, Hindi format. OK, and I want you to speak in Hindi. Let's see if it is able to do. You see, so basically it has found out this, where is the station, is station kahan hai. OK, let me try French. Now, if anybody of you are French, maybe you can tell. I believe it's quite close to what it should be. And one final time, let's see if Spanish works. OK, so again, this was just to show you that with, again, you can see this is also not more than 40 lines of code. OK, after if I removed everything and so many using and everything, again, it may look overwhelming till you really see it. Of course, it is .NET program and all, but you have to still understand the advantage of PaaS services, that a lot of heavy lifting is done by these services. OK, so with this, we have done both the demos and we will move into the next topic. If you have any questions, so we showed you a speech translation. We also showed you a video vision, which was not mentioned here, but I tried and it worked within less than 15 minutes. So I thought I will take help of this. So normally, let's see, now we will move into this guidance of how do you identify a project. OK, so technically, let's see, this is the next topic. So in general, we believe students ask us this question, that how should you identify projects? OK, so before I go this, I will just let you know, guys, in general, when you are deciding your problem statement, the most important thing is you should pick a problem statement from your area of interest. Now, if you like something like, if you are from a, let's say your area of interest is something like medical or something, so you can take a medical related problem to solve. Or if you are having some kind of a space related interest, you may take space related problem to solve. Again, be realistic in picking up your problems. And when you think of a problem, think of what kind of services you will need, whether you will need database, whether you will need website, whether you will need AI, whether you will need machine learning to learn that data or whatever. So you should have some domain knowledge of the area of the problem that you are picking up. Don't directly jump into Azure. Give yourself some time thinking on and don't pick just one problem statement. Try to pick up 4 or 5, because one, if it's complex, you can at least have moved to another. So try to pick 4 to 5 problem statements for yourself. Try to see at a high level in your solution, have a solution on paper, seeing what you will need. And after that, once you have decided, shortlisted 4 or 5 problems or whatever, depending on the time that you have, try to then start analyzing various Azure services available. And while you are doing this, in general, get well versed with, let's say Visual Studio Code or whatever programming language you plan to use. Refresh that. Git, GitHub, do all these and basics of Azure. And practically, once you have thought about your problem statement and everything, after that only go for looking at which Azure service will work best for you. And then do take help of the free account that you get as part of this FRT program from Microsoft. Try to do a demo application, okay? Work on it. Take a very small demo example. See what kind of a configuration you can do for that service. So experience it, okay? So hands-on is very, very important. So there is a lot of thought which is happening here. There is a lot of analysis which is happening here. So this is a lot of documentation, videos, audios you may need to hear, read a lot of stuff. But out here, we would like you to eventually jump into the Azure. This is the beauty of cloud platform. What I say is that what it has done is it is democratized. Okay, it has democratized the technology. So nobody has, let's say, not that only people with very deep pockets can practice this. Anybody with a free account can practice anything, creating any service on Azure. Visual Studio Code is free. GitHub is free. Git is free. All plugins are free. So practically you can do whatever. No licensing is required for any of this. So this is very, very important step. Not that the other two are not important, but do a lot of hands-on. After that, if you feel this is something which is doable, again, in parallel, you should be creating a synopsis of your problem that you have identified. So just a high level problem statement and how do you plan to solve it? There is a template for it through the FRT website. Submit that synopsis and see to it that it gets approved before you jump into the next step. Of course, you can in parallel start working on it, but technically get it approved. And while this is getting approved, in parallel, start further iterations of development, keep on doing self-learning, do further analysis of this. And by the time it gets approved and everything, you finalize your working prototype, because it is very, very important that your website or whatever you have created, the solution, it is up and running when you are submitting the project. Okay, so these are the high level steps which we wanted to highlight. I will take a pause here because it's an important point. If you have any questions which you believe you need to ask me, let me know. Okay. Fine. So after this, let's say we would like to discuss few of the students' projects. Okay, these are real examples of the real projects submitted by your colleagues. So we would like to share you what some problem statement that they picked and what main services did they help to solve. Okay, so one of the, let's say, project that was submitted successfully is diabetes predictor. So in general, I will not be reading through all this, but you can read, it's in plain English. So basically, the problem statement is that in general, we face challenge determining whether we are susceptible to diabetes or not. And there are, because it is a lot of health parameters which define how much probability that we have. So the person took this as a problem statement and using mainly the Azure machine learning as the base, just like I showed you cognitive service, which is more for AI. You have Azure ML as a PaaS service. Using that, and with the help of Visual Studio Code and hosting the site on Azure Web App and GitHub Actions and everything, the person learned this domain. Person looked at the, of course, the data set was available on Kaggle. If you're coming from a machine learning world or you want to get exposed to it, this kind of a use case is very good. Look for the data, maybe weather prediction or whatever. So taking help of Azure machine learning, lot of heavy lifting related to whatever the machine learning algorithms, the learning phase, the training phase, the analysis phase, and the prediction phase. You will see these PaaS services helps you a lot, and you are able to kind of get your site up and running within minutes. And the good thing is you can keep on doing iterations. If you do mistake, build, fail, do it again, do auto deployment, GitHub Actions, put your source code in GitHub. So this is a very interesting thing, how you will manage your data, where you will put it, look for storage services in Azure like a storage account. If you need database, look for a Azure SQL kind of a service there. So overall, the options are a lot. So don't try to unnecessarily learn everything. Pick up your battles, choose the right solution for yourself, whatever you feel. Even if it's wrong, there is no harm. It's a free account. You can again create another kind of service. Let's say you chose one kind of database and it's not working and you want to move from SQL to Postgre, you can do that. From Postgre, you feel MariaDB is a better option, so you will get a MariaDB option also available. So overall, you can see that this was one of the successfully submitted project. The next one which we wanted to highlight was the language pedagogy. So this person seems it was wanting to create something like, because of the challenge of diverse culture and origin, people face challenge when they are especially traveling across geographies. So this is what, by the way, briefly I also showed you. Okay, again, this was very simple, lot of hard coding files and everything. It was just one web file which had where is the station and conversion to 3 hard coded options from a menu. But you can build much more using the web app and the options or whatever. You can choose them at the time, create a website. But this project also used mainly the cognitive service, which I just showed you, the translation, the speech, the text extraction, image, and in general, it showed you even language pronunciation, right? You saw that message said station kahan hai, right? So it was a good enough pronunciation. And in general, this person who submitted this also had CSS, HTML, and JavaScript as part of this project. So for sure, the person must have used some ID like a Visual Studio Code or something to put it. Again, there are other IDs also possible, but we mainly suggest Visual Studio Code because it works very well with Azure and highly a lot of plugins are available there. Okay. So the next project which we want to highlight is something called SimMath UI. So this was to solve some kind of a mathematical problem that we have multiple equations and there is some kind of a follow and steps that we need to follow, and mostly people lose track of what it is. So again, a web app was used to create this, and there was a GUI which was created on which you can choose some kind of formulas like X, Y, Z, and then you can find out the missing parameter by choosing them in the right sequence and all that. So it helps you solve, let's say, algebra, calculus related problems. So it kind of helps you because it is managing your equations and data and all that. Okay, so practically this mainly used web app as one of the service to host it, and behind the scene, few other Azure services were used by this student. And the final project is again the handwritten. Okay, so this is again using some kind of a cognitive service where the person used, let's say, a SMEs language, which is one of the popular, not so popular language, but the person wanted that even a handwritten text actually can be converted into, let's say, something like it will identify which mathematical number it is. So of course, this is just a beginning which the person has, let's say, as the sentence says, that this is the first step towards whatever is his or her dream. So basically, it's a very small step which the person has taken, that at least using the, let's say, OCR kind of a service, optical character reader, which is again one of the part of vision and all that, the cognitive service. With the help of this, it was based on the custom vision AI. So the person trained it and everything. So under the hood, for sure, cognitive service is being used. But this is an application which is built to kind of make an SMEs number identification. Okay, so these were at a high level the 4 projects which we wanted to highlight. They are mainly using web apps. One of them is, I think, using Azure SQL also, and some are using cognitive service. One is using AI ML. So you can pick up your own area of interest and problem statement like we explained, and basically build a application of your choice, okay, according to it. Okay. So after this, we are moving into, before we have Q&A, the final part is project submission. We wanted to focus a bit on it because I saw some of you and your friends picked up the right problem statement. They were very right in whatever they were trying to implement and everything. But when they submitted it, they did something because of which the project got rejected, and it's not a very good feeling to have that. But of course you can resubmit and all that. There is a process for it, but we would like to have a first time right approach. So what you do is that before you submit your project, in general, there are few guidelines related to it. You can go over it. They are available to you in the FRT website also, but I wanted to highlight these, that you should have complete details of the orientation tab. You should have watched the industry videos. I think there are 4 of them. You should have done the basic learning modules of the self-learning tab. After doing that, you should have claimed and activated your student developer pack, which gives you GitHub and the other privileges of the Microsoft Azure free account. And you have updated your Microsoft Azure skills on LinkedIn. Before you do this final, let's say you have to get your synopsis cleared. And after that, only once your synopsis, as we saw about when you were choosing your project, there was also a step to submit the synopsis. And only once your synopsis is approved, you get to submit your final project. So these are few of the very basic guidelines that we wanted to highlight, because we saw many students were struggling with these things also. So we thought we will just put it up front, share it with you all. Any questions on this at this point, okay, on the guidelines, because we are seeing a lot of people are not able to follow these and their projects are getting rejected.
Hi Prashant, Gunjan this side. Hello students. This is Gunjan from Microsoft. There are few things which I wanted to quickly bring up. So as Prashant has told you that these are the different steps that you have to do, but this is not something which is mandatory, like, right? So while you're doing the self-learning, you can still go ahead and submit your project. It's not mandatory that you should have completed your industry videos or self-learning to submit your project. Even without doing this, you can go ahead and you can submit your project, right? So this was the one question which was recurring into the chat also, that I'm still completing my self-learn. I have not completed my industry videos. Can I still submit my project? The answer is yes, right? If your project gets cleared, even you'll be eligible to get an internship certificate. The only difference would be that this certificate would not be eligible for the credit. So you can't gain credits against that, but still you can get the internship certificate by just completing your project also. Right? So
Okay.
Is this clear for everyone? Maybe I can just get a quick confirmation in the chat window by saying yes. So there are 2 options for all of you to go ahead and complete your internship. 1, do all mandatory steps, submit your project and get the internship certificate, or otherwise you can just submit your project and get the internship certificate. The difference between the 2 is only the credit thing.
Yeah, I think it is mentioned here. Okay, I'll just go to that slide where it says.
Correct. Okay. So cost of credits is basically, so if you talk about, like, if I take an example of the engineering colleges, there are certain courses wherein you have to go and do the internship, and against that you get the credits, right? So into that lines, this internship is something which is eligible for credits, but it is provided you do all mandatory steps. In case if you're not looking for a credit course and you're just looking for completing your internship, you can just go ahead and do the internship as well, right? You can just submit the project, successfully complete it, and then you'll be able to get the internship certificate. So over to you, Prashant. This was just one thing which I wanted to bring in.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, that's great. So anyway, so yes, guys, very important. So e-learning is mandatory to be completed only if you want the credits, but without credit, it is optional. The videos are anyway optional and you can go, but submitting project in the right way is very, very important. Getting your synopsis approved is important, and submitting it in the right way, and it should be approved to give you the virtual internship certificate. So next few minutes, I will spend on kind of telling you few of the basic nuances, half of which I have already covered. So the first thing is, of course, you have to think of your problem statement. But practically, once you have thought of your problem statement, remember these are the high level evaluation criteria that you need to choose the right industry to which you are aligning your solution. It can be industry of your choice, no problem. You should have the right problem statement, problem description for your project that you want to make. And be aware that there was some confusion on this, but we want to highlight this fact that in your project, you need to use at least one Azure service. Again, I will highlight at least one. OK, otherwise it has no meaning, right? Because technically, if you have not used any of the Azure services, how does your Azure learning helps? OK, here. So that's why we expect you to use one Azure service, though in general, the guideline says that we would prefer if it is 3 services, because if you use 2 to 3, we believe your learning would be much more richer in nature and it will help you much more in your final goal of learning Azure. But technically, to evaluate, to successfully get your project evaluated, we need to see a proof of one service of Azure being used, whether it is just a VM in the worst case or whatever IaaS. It could be a web app, static web app. It could be a DB. It could be cognitive service. It could be AI ML. It could be SQL database, whatever. So technically speaking, we need one service, a proof of it. And it is important, very, very important, that whatever is your end product, the link of that Azure endpoint, which is on which your, whether it's a web app or whatever you have created, which is hosted, you have to share that. And it should be a working URL, OK, because that will be the first check which we will be doing, that the prototype is working or not. I will show you where to specify it, because we are seeing many people are putting wrong links there, which doesn't help. So let's say if we talk about the project that I created, the static web app as an example. Now, technically, the HTML, the CSS file and everything that I have in GitHub, that is sufficient for me to submit. But once I have hosted it on, let's say, static web app, I am getting an endpoint which I shared with all of you. OK, so let me try to go back, because we are seeing a lot of people are doing mistakes in the demo URL. OK, this point is heavily causing a lot of projects to be rejected, even though they may have done a good job of choosing the right problem statement and everything. But because we see that people are forgetting to do this in a correct way, I'm highlighting this fact again, guys. Again, GitHub repo, we are seeing people are creating fine. They are putting the right files, no problem. They are creating the right repo with right privileges. They would have created the right demo applications in Azure. But what we see the common mistake is, let me choose our same problem statement. Let's say this is the repo which I'm trying to submit as part of my project. Now remember, this is, again, the link to this can be found from here. So if somebody is asking me for a GitHub link, all I need to share is the top link from here, which is, let's say, let me put that in Notepad just for you to refer. So you can, okay, Notepad. This is the link. OK, of course, you can put .git in front if you want, but this is your GitHub repo link. This is not your, let's say, demo URL link or something. OK, let me again highlight. OK, so see this one, which it says that you have to put your project demo URL. Now, if this is a static web app or whatever it is, technically, remember, we have got a link which I shared with all of you also, right? So let's say if this is, I will go to my static web app as an example. So we'll go to my demo static web page. And let's say this is the final service which is running. And remember, in this service, I have this, OK, which is this. So now this is a green wave, whatever it is. So you have to take this, OK. This is your final website or whatever your endpoint, what we call in technical terms. You will need to take this endpoint and see to it that this service is up and running. Please don't destroy this resource, because if you will destroy this, it is no more working. So 2 important things. 1, pick the link that is working, OK, and technically make sure that it stays working. Of course, Azure will not stop you till you will stop that service, and you go back to your repo. And please be aware that on the right side, there are this about, OK, this is very important to update. You need to go to your repository, go to the settings sections, and there is this website link. In this, please make sure you put the link of your end product. OK, again, whatever it is which you want people to click and for it to make work, like the example which I showed you, the person wrote the mathematical problem. So the link to his or her application is there ready. If I click on that link, the mathematical UI app is opening for me. So technically you have to put whatever description, okay, this is static web app for whatever reason. So try to put some text here, though this is not very important, but it is always good. Most important thing is put the right website link and save these changes, and make sure that if you click on this link, practically it is getting opened. Okay, this is a final check which we would like you to do, that this is the right link. Most people are doing wrong, that they have everything here, everything is okay, they have given the right link to GitHub, but they have not specified this, because of which the first check which we will do is we will see whether this link is working or not, and after that we will go and see which service you have used, and preferably write some kind of a readme file or something which is specifying. We have seen a lot of you have done a very good job here, okay, which is, we are very happy about that. But we are seeing a lot of you just because of this small thing of not specifying the right link. Again, let me highlight, creating a repo and all you may have already understood, or you have gone through the e-learning, but clicking on this settings button and putting the right link of your endpoint of your application that you have created using Azure services for this FRT project is one of the most important step which people are missing out, because of which their projects are getting rejected. So again, to highlight, it's only one Azure service, preferably 3. Have the right GitHub URL, make sure that it is a working model, and you are all good to go. And with this, I will take a pause here. As I said, last 15-20 minutes, we will give you to ask questions of any kind. This is your time now. I think I've spent enough time. Just let me do a quick recap of what all I have done. I showed you a few Azure web services, mainly the web app, the database, the cognitive service. We looked at some pointers towards how you can choose a project. Then we showed you a few demo projects to kind of show you what different projects your, let's say, different students have taken and successfully submitted. And after that, we showed you the criteria for the projects and the process to submit the project. And with this, I will take a pause here. Over to all of you for any questions.
Sure. Before we open it for students, there are a few things which I would want to call out, and I've been reading through the chat, and these are the common recurring questions. So let me quickly do that.
Sure.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
Correct.
Gunjan.
Thanks. Thanks, Shweb. Thanks, Prashant. So the very first question which is coming in, people are asking that when is the batch 3 starting? So students, registrations are currently open. You can go. The link for you to is www.futurereadytalent.in. That's the website. Go, you can register yourself. The registrations are currently open on the batch. So you don't have to wait for batch 3. You can go and you can register yourself. Once you register, you will get 80 days to complete your internship, which is like you have to go through all the learn courses, complete your project, submit your project. You'll get total of 80 days to do that. Right. Second, the thing which is coming in was that I have yet not completed all my courses. Can I yet go and submit my project and complete my internship? I think we have already answered that. You have 2 parallel tracks. You can either go through all the mandatory courses and then submit your project, or either you can directly go and submit your project and you can earn your internship certificate. The only difference would be in terms of the credit. So we have already covered on this, so I'll not spend much time on this. Second, there was a question that was being asked that in case if I fail, what would happen? So in case if you're not able to clear your project in the first attempt, you'll be sent an email along with the corrective feedback from the evaluators. You can incorporate that feedback into your project and you can resubmit, and you'll be able, so you'll have 2 more attempts to clear that, right? Plus, there are a lot of project mentoring sessions that are coming up, which is one-on-one, and you'll be receiving emails on that. Please do join at the suggestive slots that are being given to you to get your doubts cleared and ensure that you are able to clear the project successfully. Second, I've been seeing a lot of questions around project synopsis. So project synopsis is something that it's up to you. When do you want to go ahead and submit your synopsis? Once you have a fair idea of what kind of a project you're planning to do, please go to the project tab, provide all the details that are required in the project synopsis tab, and click on save and submit. I've been reading some of the students were saying that I have submitted my synopsis. I have yet not received any confirmation. So there's no confirmation that comes in. The minute you are able to provide all the details, click on save and submit, automatically final project submission tab get activated, right? So you can then post that, go and submit your project tab. In case if you have done all what I have suggested, that you have to provide all those details, click on save and submit. Still, if your project submission tab is not open, then do write to support@futurereadytalent.in, right? Then there's a question that has been asked around where to update skills. So, and which is also linked to the Azure passes, which I've been reading. So students, once you register onto the platform, onto this, onto futurereadytalent.in, everybody has to claim their student developer pack. The student developer pack is there a widget of green color, which is available if you see on the right hand side of the screen. Click on that, click on claim student developer pack. The team at the backend will check whether you have updated your skills on LinkedIn. And how to update your skills on LinkedIn, there's a link which has also been updated, which will tell you that how to update your skills. Update your skills, click on claim your student developer pack. The team will validate all the details and they will send you a link to download your student developer pack, right? Somebody asked on the validity of a student developer pack. It remains active for 2 years, and post that you can renew that provided you are still a student, right? Because it's being called as a student developer pack, right? Then there was a question, and within GitHub Student Developer Pack, you will get Azure for Student Pass for free. So you don't have to use the option where it requires you a credit card. In case if you have that option available, you can use that. But otherwise, you should always claim for Student Developer Pack, because other than, yes, as rightly Prashant is showing in, so you can click on claim student developer pack. If you scan this QR code, it will directly take you to LinkedIn. You can go to the scroll to the skill section. In case Excel skill section is yet not being updated, there are detailed steps also that are being given. So use those and you'll be able to update your skills, right? If you're still facing issue and you have not received a link yet, then you can write at support@futurereadytalent.in, or either you can also post in your query on the discussion forums that we have, right? Somebody asked, what are the prizes for successful project completion? So there are many prizes. There's not one. One, you get your internship certificate. Second, you get a branded Microsoft Azure t-shirt. You get a lot of recognition even onto the page. There's a student developer yearbook that is under construction where all of you will be featured. And what more, you also get access to exclusive career fairs, right? So you have many benefits, and of course the knowledge and the skills that you're acquiring during the process comes handy, right? So these are the few things which I wanted to quickly bring up for you. Regarding all your issues onto GitHub Developer Pack, please do check that you have updated your skills on LinkedIn. Click on the Claim Student Developer Pack, and you would be receiving your details very soon for claiming this pack. And regarding the session recording, yes, everybody will receive an email with the session recording. It would also be available on the FRT YouTube channel. I think some of you have already posted the link also on the chat. Please follow that YouTube channel. Stay tuned there because all the session recordings will be made available there. Right. Any more questions, mentors? If you want to go kind of bring up any questions that you've been reading and is kind of recurring again and again. And then we can open it up for the students. So I think let's open it up for the students. So students, you can raise your hand and then you can unmute
one thing,
yourself.
Kunjan, I wanted to highlight based on questions. Just give me a minute. So
Sure.
guys, I see some questions related to that. What if the link that I'm creating, if it's not going to be active for very long due to cost or whatever reason? So be aware, guys, we have come up with an alternative for it where you will need to take a video out of it, that you will need to show us on that video that your website or whatever that solution was, it is working, but it may not stay working after some time. So better make a YouTube video of it, upload it on YouTube, and please share that YouTube video link instead of the actual website. OK, so it doesn't matter if your actual solution is not working. We need a proof of it that it worked at one point of time, but you needed to shut down those because maybe the free tier account that you get as a student is not long enough for that service to stay up and running because the team of the team which is validating your project may take some days to get it validated. By that time, if you believe your actual solution will no more be active, again, please make a video and share that link of the video. We will take that also as a proof of that you were successfully able to complete the project. Rest we will look at GitHub and find stuff from that. Okay, fine. Thank you.
1 minute.
Gunjan, you are on mute.
Gunjan, you are mute. Gunjan, you are on mute for quite some time.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So there's one question that has come up. Let's say if I have just submitted my project and have earned the internship certificate, can I later complete my learning and get a certificate with credits? Yes, you can do that, right? So maybe for now, I've just quickly submitted my project in order to get the internship certificate. Later, I complete all mandatory steps, which is all 5 courses that has to be done and 2 industry videos. Yes, you will be eligible to get the certificate with credits as well. Right? So that's there with you. Okay, so now students, we would urge that if you want to go ahead, you can unmute yourself one by one and you can ask your questions. Just raise your hand so that we can call out your name and then you can unmute and you can ask your question.
Yeah, we have a couple of hands raised. So Mohammed Zaid, Anshu Kumar, Mayank Singh, any one of you can go first.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Anshu Kumar, ma'am, and currently I am pursuing my economics honors from Delhi University in 2nd year. So, is this internship for me? Like, I registered for the internship earlier, like in October, but there is some medical emergency in my home, so I get there and I didn't see my emails and all these things. And this is my first session. So, can I continue with it or not?
Yes, Anshu, you can continue with it. You are already registered into the system. So just start with your learning and working towards your project.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, how can I get all this information, like what to do I have and what to not to do?
Okay, so there's a YouTube channel link and we'll just
Yes,
ask
ma'am.
one of the
I
students.
saw it. Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
There is an orientation session, is there? I have to see that.
Yes, and plus
I
there's
see
a
that.
project guide also in your login. If you see on the banner where your name is being written, there's a project guide also which is embedded. You can click on that. It also captures all the important steps that you have to complete, right? And in case if you have few more questions, you have GitHub discussion forum. You can post in your queries there and the team over there would help you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Right, and rightfully, like Prashant has shown you. Prashant, can you just go back and show them the banner where this link is being embedded?
Yes. Yeah, so it is out here as on the very first page. When you land in on your learning page, you have this click here for FRT guide, and this is a pretty detailed document talking about all the steps, what you need to do. Okay, so basically it's here. Click here for guide. Okay.
Click here for the FRT guide, right?
Yes,
So Anshu, I hope that
seeing.
answers the question.
Yes, ma'am. I seen these PPTs and I enrolled for, like, I uploaded my mark sheet and all these things right now.
Great. So just get started now. Start your learning. I also read a question where somebody was saying that I've provided all the details on the orientation page, but still my the self-learn and the industry page has not unlocked. So I would say just quickly review the details that you have given. Just ensure that you have given all the mandatory requirements that are there and you have clicked on submit after providing each of the detail to unlock your page. Still, if it doesn't open, then you can please write it on support@futurereadytalent.in and the team will support you. Next, Mohammed Zaid, do you want to go next? Your hand is up.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to ask if about the certification card, ma'am. I'm not able to see that certification card. I have completed the learning modules of DA100 data analyst, but there used to be a certification card for which I have to pay and give a test, but it is not visible anymore. So,
Oh,
ma'am,
it's under the offers page. It's under the offers page. If you click on offers, and Prashant, would you like to bring up your screen? Maybe one more. I think it's super helpful with you showing the students that. So if you just scroll towards the end. On the bottom of the page, within Learning tab, on the bottom of the page, there's a special offers, exclusive offers, right? If you click on this, exclusive offers, and Mohammed Zaid, if you are indicating to the same thing, so you have this thing available here.
Yeah, these the
Were
claim
you-
now, the Microsoft and the ENY and whatever is applicable to you, it will be visible to you. I think it's
So-
maybe this one.
Yes, Microsoft certification, if you need to have, you have to click on claim now. In case if you have already claimed 2 vouchers, then might be this would be currently not visible to you, or it would be deactivated for you. So in that case, you can write to support@futurereadytalent.in. They would have few questions to ask, and then post that this will be activated for you. I hope that was your question and it's answered.
Not exactly, ma'am. Actually, in the learning modules, there were a few cards, right?
Okay, learning modules.
Ma'am, go to learning. Yeah, self-learning. Just scroll down a little. Yeah, I was
Okay.
doing a data analyst thing. When you click on one of these links, there's a redirecting link.
Correct.
Yeah. Proceed to course, and then you have to log in and just complete the modules through Microsoft Learn,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Yeah. And
So you're
after that,
saying some of the cards are not available there.
yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
one of the card used to have that you have to pay ₹1,000 and give a certification test.
You have to pay how much?
₹1,000.
Oh, okay. So okay. So that offer is now over. That was till 31st of December only, and that's why you're not able to see those cards.
Okay.
Right?
I guess
It was a
time-bound
limited
things,
time.
right? They expire right after some time, right?
Right.
Okay.
So that was a different partnership thing that was there with NASCOM. So that is no more available. That was till 31st of December. So alternatively, Zaid, what you can do is you can take what we have shown you under the exclusive offer. You can take the certification from there.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Right. Okay. Mayank, you may want to go next.
Yes, ma'am. Can you be more specific about what skills we should be mentioning in our LinkedIn profile, ma'am? Can you give some examples?
Microsoft Azure. Prashant, if you can go back to the student developer pack visit, it clearly calls out there that you have to update Microsoft Azure as a skill.
Currently, I am learning all the things which are provided over FRT tab. So
Correct.
I can mention over there as my skills, like currently I'm learning.
So in case if you have completed one course, right? Let's say if you have completed your AZ 900 course, that's when you have to go update your skills and claim for this student developer pack.
Okay, thank you.
Right? So complete any one of the course and then you have to go ahead and do that. Right? For everyone, just complete one of the course, and post completing that course, you have to claim your student developer pack. Right? Next is Derek. Derek, you may want to ask your question.
Hello, hi. Actually, my name is Rufus. So actually, my doubt is that I tried to create a cluster actually and using Databricks, but I choose actually like 2 or more locations, but it always gets terminated because it's saying minimum required is 8, but the location which I selected always it gets selected to only 6. So I don't know what location maybe I can use for it.
I think this is not a question for you, Gunjan. So I think that you will need to, let's say, with the screenshot of whatever error you are facing, please send it to the support and they will get back to you, because that's not something, a Databricks level statement, we cannot handle it right here. It's very individual in nature. So you will need to drop in an email.
Okay, sir. And also another doubt I have, when will we know that we got a student developer pack actually? Because I submitted it actually it says it will get validated and you will know about in 3 days, but I never got any intimidation about it. So
Derek, what I would suggest is that we'll just ask the team to check on the same. Ideally, you should have got a link, right? Clicking on which you can go ahead and you can start the process of claiming your student developer pack, right? So
actually, when
just drop in one more. Yes, go ahead.
So no, actually, like the claim actually the green color dialog box. Actually, I opened it and I clicked the claim student developer pack, and a dialog box came saying yeah, it will be activated soon, something like that. But then nothing came. Actually, nothing like any confirmation mail or nothing was given. So I don't know whether I
And you have
activated
updated
correctly
your
or not.
skills. You have updated your skills
Yeah,
on LinkedIn,
yeah,
right? And
yeah, yeah. I
just
did.
check that the link that you have provided in the orientation page on the LinkedIn profile, that link is correct, because the team would be only able to validate if the link that you have provided in your profile is correct. Right? So
Okay.
just
So
move to the
will we get
orientation.
any link actually?
Sorry?
Normally, will we get any links or some other mail intimation that saying your student developer pack is confirmed?
Yes,
You can use
yes,
student
yes.
developer. You will
Yes.
get a
So
mail.
the minute you click on
Okay.
claim student developer pack, right? And let's say we validate and we find that the link is, let's say, invalid. So there would be an email that will be sent to you that the link, the details that you provided on the orientation page is invalid, and hence we are not able to validate your learning. So you're saying, in case if you have not received any of the email, let me ask the team to check.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Can you
Thank you
just
so
write
much.
an email to support@futurereadytalent.in, the support ID?
Which was provided down below in that
Correct.
website actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Sure. I will do it. Yeah.
Support@futurereadytalent.in.
Okay. Sure. I will do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Right? Just do that, and I'll ask the team to take care of this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. And for the next question, Derek, the earlier question that you have asked, maybe you can attend the project mentoring sessions that are planned for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So will
Right.
okay. Sure. I will ask the same question
You would
tomorrow.
have
Yeah.
got
Thank
the
you.
email, so you can attend that session.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Sure.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Khushbu, you can go next, and we'll just quickly try and do this.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah. So, ma'am, actually, I had the doubt about how to claim a student developer pack.
Okay. So
because due to network issue, I couldn't get it.
Okay. So we'll just demonstrate it one by one. What you have to do is do a course, complete at least one course, click on claim your student developer pack, right? And then click on claim student developer pack, right? In the interim, what you should also do is go to LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, go ahead and update your skills, which is Microsoft Azure, under the skills section, right? Once you have done this, the team will validate this, and within next 2 days, you'll get the email notification, right? So if you have done all the steps correctly, you would get a notification that this is your link to start the process of claiming the student developer pack, right? Which is a fast track link.
Okay. So then LinkedIn and a GitHub account is mandatory.
Yes. So when you go on to orientation page, and Prashant, if you can just move to the orientation page and just scroll to the profile page where we provide all the details.
Yeah.
Right. So just scroll down and move on to the LinkedIn one. So see, all the links that you are providing under the LinkedIn under these profile section has to be correct, right? Just click on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right. So you no. Just on Prashant on the top, just next to Microsoft Learning, a future skill prime, right? So here you should have given the correct LinkedIn profile URL of yours.
Yeah, ma'am, I have given it. Means I have already account, but then I had doubt about claiming this. It was
okay. So is the process
and
now clear?
also yeah, and also for the project, which topic we should take, like any specific, or we can take off any other choice.
I think you can take off your choice, and Prashant has covered this. Prashant,
that,
would you like to?
Yeah, that we have already been explaining, right, since beginning, that it's a topic. We don't define that topic on purpose because we would like you to pick up a topic of what excites you, and accordingly, just we are trying to enable you to, on your learning journey, to use Azure to kind of make that live whatever problem you are trying to solve. Okay, but we don't ask you to choose any particular topic on purpose.
Yeah, sir. So we can take any topic from our side, right?
Yes, you can. Why not?
Just Azure skill should be compulsion.
Yeah, you should be using Azure service to solve that problem. That's the only mandate.
All right. And what about project synopsis? So it first we have to mention the project title and all those stuff, and then after that we'll be approved by, like, we'll
It's a
get a mail or what?
It's a auto
Yes,
approval.
yes.
It's a auto
It will
approval.
be click
Okay,
here for
okay, fine.
FRT guide. Okay, you will see everything here. What you need to do. Okay, this is pretty expensive on explaining the step by step what you need to do.
Yeah. I got a mail regarding the last date. So is it extended, ma'am?
Yes, it's 5th of Feb now.
Okay, all right. Yeah. And what about the courses? Is it mandatory to complete all of them?
Okay, so Khushbu, I think you've been little unattentive while we were explaining. So there are two
No, actually, ma'am, due to network issue, I couldn't like
no,
initiate in the beginning.
Correct. So no worries.
Yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
two parallel tracks that are available to you. You can either just submit your project, and if it gets successfully approved, you get the internship certificate, but it will not be eligible to give you credits, right? If you complete all the mandatory courses, which is all self-learned courses and industry videos, and then do the project approval, then you could get a certificate, which is also valid for credits. The only difference.
I pulled that slide, Gunjan, for you.
Correct. So it's there in front of you, Khushbu, right? So it's not mandatory.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I got
The
it.
only difference is in terms of credits in both the certificates. You can choose either of the track. Also, let's say if you have taken the second track and later you want that you need a certificate with credits, complete all the courses within the timelines and you will be able to get that certificate also. I hope this is clear now.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Done. Great, Khushbu. Thank you. Sandeep, do you want to go next?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question is, a few months back, I had already claimed this GitHub Student Developer Pack through our college university email ID. So what is the situation now if I complete this course and the project is approved?
Yes, it will be approved. There would be no issues. If you already have a student developer pack, I don't think it should be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Done. Purnendu. Sorry if I have pronounced your name incorrectly. If you want to go next.
Submission deadline is, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Ma'am, if the project submission deadline is 5th of Feb, then ma'am, at least how many days before do we need to submit the project synopsis?
There's no timelines that we are defining in terms of by when you should submit your project synopsis. It's up to you. Your final project submission should happen before 5th of Feb or by 5th of Feb, right?
So ma'am, if it's 5th of Feb, then ma'am, even on 3rd, we can submit the project synopsis.
Right. Provided you are able to submit your final project by
5th of Feb. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Okay. And I think thanks, Purnendu, for bringing up that, because I think that was also one question which I missed, which was being asked by most of the students. Mukul, do you want to go next?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
will I get ever a chance to submit our project after 5th Feb?
Okay, so currently 5th Feb is the date that we have given. So you should try that you should be able to submit your project, because it's again third time extension that we have given to you, right? So try and ensure that you're able to submit by that particular date, right?
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Mukul.
Yeah,
thank you. Next we have Shravya, and hope I have pronounced your name correctly. Do you want to go next?
We have crossed the time, though I am okay to extend, but we have crossed the official time. Okay, just be
yes, correct.
We'll
quickly try and wrap this up.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure.
We can give students time.
Yeah, so yeah, my question was actually similar. I just wanted to ask if the project synopsis can be submitted, like when should be submitted before the final guidelines, like final deadline, sorry.
No definition of these timelines from our side unless you do your final project submission by 5th of Feb. If you want to go and submit your project synopsis, see, the minute you have a little formalized structure in your mind in terms of what you're going to create, we would always suggest that you submit your project synopsis, right?
Yeah,
because it's then when
remember,
your
without
final
project synopsis getting approved, your project submission doesn't get enabled only. So there is no way you can submit your project without synopsis
until
approved.
project synopsis is being submitted,
Right.
right? Although it's an auto approval, it doesn't require any external approval to be done on your project synopsis.
Right.
Right. So it's up to you However, we urge that if you have a structure in mind, if you have decided on what you will be doing in, quickly go ahead and submit your project synopsis.
Yeah, okay, fine. So first we'll submit so we can submit the project synopsis by 4th or 3rd Feb also, right?
Right, up to you, up to you. But why would you want to delay till 3rd of Feb is what I'm thinking, but maybe I'm not too sure, like there could be some reason.
They are too close, right? So everybody is choosing 3rd Feb. Is it some auspicious day or what? I'm not very sure.
Yes.
No, it's not like that, but it's just like when is the last date for project synopsis, like that in a way.
No, so technically you can do project synopsis on 5th morning, and in another hour you do project submission. Okay, if you want to be really on the boundary line, I don't see any reason, right, Gunjan?
Yes. See, okay, so for everyone, the only advantage is that, let's say, if you have submitted your project synopsis, you would have chance to come into one-to-one mentoring session, which otherwise would not be available to rest of the people. Right. So I would urge, if you have already decided that what you'll be doing on, then don't hold yourself back. Submit your synopsis, because we'll not reprimand you on that what you have submitted in synopsis, why you have changed it in the final project submission, right? So if you have a fair idea, go ahead and submit your project synopsis, because it opens up your chance to meet mentors one-on-one, ask your queries, work around that. That would be available to you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay. And just one thing, please don't forget that under project synopsis, there are 2 buttons. One is save and one is save and submit. Please click on save and submit, because unless you click on save and submit, the next project submission tab will not open for you. Right. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Avinash, you can go next, and we'll quickly try and take these till Afridi, and then we'll just close the session, right? Go ahead, Avinash. Please ask your question.
Hi, good evening, Prashant sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, if I'm thinking to do a project on conversational bot service using Azure services, what new I can do in that?
Okay, so you're asking me for idea on what new you can do?
Yeah, because I think already there is an ready-made Azure service available for a conversational bot.
No, but remember, conversational bot is a PaaS service. Now you can, let's say, guide it. Let's say you want a bot for answering, let's say, health related questions or something. So you will need to train it accordingly for that. The bot service is a generic PaaS service to give you a bot as a PaaS or a platform as a service. But there is a lot of, let's say, training that you can do to the bot. You can make it, give it your own flavor. It can ask questions, you can create flows. So there are a lot of services, or let's say features, that you can build on top of that. Remember that service is not on its own complete, that it can do any problem statement answering for you. So there is a lot of configurations and learning that you can make that bot learn specific to your problem statement. So that would be your job if you are using conversational bot. And for that, the limit is your imagination. The tool is giving you what it's giving.
So if I'm enabling the Azure extension in Visual Studio Code, so through that I can get the code for that cognitive services, and I can add my code into that or modify
it. Will need some more insights into it, but again, I think in the interest of time, we will not be able to take this question, because it's a very specific question. For this, you will need to come to mentoring session maybe, and you can get guidance on it. Okay, because there it will be one-to-one session for half an hour or whatever. So I think that would be a better place to ask this question.
And Avinash, you would have got invite for this. This is planned for tomorrow, right? So do join tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Drishti, you can go next. If it's very specific question to project, I would urge all of you to attend the session which is planned for tomorrow, right? If it's a little question which is a little generalized, let's ask that question. Yeah, Drishti, go ahead.
Ma'am, I wish to know that the date for completing the courses is also 5th of Feb.
Yes.
And ma'am, if we have a project in which we have collected data on our own, that sort of project would also work. It's an ML project, but the data is collected by me only. So that sort of a project will work.
Prashant, would you like to answer that?
Yes. Why not? See, it's not mandatory to take data from a Kaggle or something. Actually, if you ask me, if you have created your own data set with your own problem statement, I don't see any reason. That's a good thing, actually speaking. So there is no problem with it at all.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Chirag, you can go next.
So my question is from Sir. Sir, I am having a question regarding, as you have present earlier, the model of image processing. So, sir, I was asking, this whole project was made by you or any student, or it was given by Microsoft itself?
No. I took it from Microsoft documentation pages. Okay, that code I only build it. Okay, so technically it took me less than 15-20 minutes to kind of get that code up and running and do some configurations and start the service. So technically, again, it's a very specific question, though I'm still answering it, though Gunjan said that we should be taking these questions in the mentoring sessions. But yeah, that project which I showed you is that I made in 15-20 minutes with the help of service and code from documentation of Microsoft.
Thank you, sir. Just another related question. So, sir, if we have such a large project in our mind and we are working on it, but can you suggest me to, is it too early to submit such a project in Feb, as it can be a great idea for it's not earlier it's not in a market such a project which is working on such a large project. It's a bit it's a widely complex project. So, sir, I can go for such a 5 topics and decide one of them, or I should take it long?
No. I think what you should do is that, just like we showed you that SME's number project, right? So what that person did was, just with the handwriting, only thing that person did was, let's say, just it understands SME's number written, but not text. So you can continue to build on that solution post it, but you can define a problem statement, which is something which is doable by 5th February, and submit that and get yourself certified. Post which anyway you can continue to build. Okay, so don't try to think of a too big a industry project, and getting a deadline of 5th Feb could be too unrealistic. Okay, so it's fine. Pick up a small part, put that only in Synopsis, get that workable model ready, and get yourself at least cleared, and post which you continue on your learning journey. Okay, that doesn't stop after the internship project, right?
Yes, sir, as it is on cognitive services and machine learning model.
Yeah, that's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay, that should not stop you just because the scope is very big overall.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks, Chirag. Rohit, you may go next. Rohit, are you there? Okay, we'll just skip to next. Anusha.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Anusha.
Ma'am, my self-learning industrial sections, these are all not being highlighted. What might be the reason?
Your orientation tab is complete, Anusha. Have you checked? Have you completed all the details that are required to be filled?
Yes, ma'am.
And even on the MS Learn tab, have you provided the details and then clicked on submit button? Because after providing every detail, you have to click on submit.
Okay.
Right. So what generally happens is that what we do is that we click on one of the detail, which is MS Learn detail. We provide the detail, but we forget to click on the submit tab. So details doesn't get submitted in the database, right? So in case if it is happening with others also, ensure that on the orientation tab, when you provide the MS Learn details, future skill prime details, you click on submit after providing each of these details. Right, Anusha? Just try that and it will unlock for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Done. Okay.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am. The Milind here. Ma'am, before claiming the student pack, do I need to like complete the course which is given in the self-learning tab?
Yes, at least one of the course you should have completed.
Okay. Okay, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Right? Otherwise, how would you say that you have got the Azure skills, right? So we urge that you finish at least one of the course and then update your skills.
Okay, ma'am,
And you
but
will
I
receive-
accidentally clicked the claim button before. So actually I did a mistake right there. So
No worries. So
actually,
it would have the status would be coming as rejected right now. You see, as in Prashant, it's also coming as
yes,
rejected.
ma'am,
I'm not a student, right? So
No
yes,
worries.
sir.
It's
Okay, ma'am,
correct.
I
If it's
can,
coming
I
as
will complete my course and later claim the student pack, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Prathmesh, do you want to go next quickly? We have after this, we have just one more question.
Hello.
Yeah, Prathmesh.
Ma'am, I have not received GitHub Student Developer Pack, but it show claim. So what can I do now?
To just check your email ID. You would have already received the link in your profile, in your email. Just check on that.
Ma'am, it show that your developer pack is rejected due to I cannot be add skill on my LinkedIn.
Right. So,
But ma'am,
so
it
then you
shows
have
the
not claimed it, right? While you clicked on claim, your claim has been rejected because your skills were not updated. So update your skills again, right? And then click on claim student developer pack. And then the team will validate and they'll share the link with you, provided you have also completed
but
one
ma'am,
of the course.
its status is claimed, ma'am. So what can do, ma'am?
But you have got the email as rejected. This is what
Yeah,
you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And share the screenshots to the support. That's all. They will need to do this.
Correct.
Yeah,
If
okay,
that
sir,
is the case,
definitely.
then just try to support at futurereadytalent.in that while it is showing as claim, but you have received an email saying that your claim has been rejected.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So we
Give
have
us a-
last two questions.
so much.
Anybody who needs to drop can drop. Okay, who doesn't have any doubt can drop because there's a question on it. Not the session is officially over. We are taking questions just as last.
Right. Rocky, what's your question? And then we'll go to Nikesh and then we'll close the session. Yeah, Rocky, go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, my GitHub developer pack email and Azure developer pack email different, but I cannot, ma'am, वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. काम नहीं कर पा रहा दोनों.
It's not very audible to me.
Correct.
I am audible.
You need to come near the mic. It's not audible. Okay, try putting it in a chat window. Okay, try putting in the chat window if you're not able to audible. Okay.
And that was Rocky, right? So I think we have Nikesh, we have answered. Rohit, you are the last one, I think. Go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Say, for example, if I started the course only by the last week, what I'm supposed to do? Like the project submission deadline is 5th, but I started only last week. What I'm supposed to do now? Will I be placed in batch 2 or batch 3?
No, because you're already registered now. So I would say start building your project, right? To such cases who have very lately registered, we'll let you know through a communication that what will be the date for you.
Yeah, because I have to learning modules as well. So it's difficult for me to go ahead with projects right now. So
no worries. Continue with your learning because people who are joining in right now, for them 5th of Feb won't be a date, right? For them, this date will be extended further. So you can continue learning.
Okay, thank you.
Right? Okay. Any more questions? Because I think to all the hands which are up, except for I think Rocky, we have answered all the questions, right? Is there anybody left?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the orientation details that we have to provide all the links, right? LinkedIn, GitHub details, futures.
Correct.
So there, after clicking submit, will we get any acknowledgement that we have submitted those, or it's just like that? Because I don't see any confirm button that my details have been submitted there.
Okay, so there's no confirmation comes in. The only confirmation is that, let's say after submitting your LinkedIn profile details, if you go back to MS Learn, your details, you will be able to see the details that you shared.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Got
So
it.
if you're able to see the correct details is good. In case if you see the details are incorrect, then you can just put in the details again and click on submit.
Yeah. And one last doubt is, do I have to complete at least one module in the MS Learn platform in order to submit the project?
So see, one module is in case if you have to claim the student developer pack, right? Then you have to at least complete one module.
And that is mandatory for project submission, right?
No, that's not mandatory for project submission.
I mean the GitHub student developer pack.
See, for GitHub student developer pack, because you have to update your skills, you have to at least complete one of the course, which is AZ 900 also, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right. But let's say you like one of the student asked that they already have a student developer pack, right?
Okay.
Now, if they want to go ahead and submit their project, they can go ahead and do it directly also.
Okay. Actually, I have done it using my university mail address, the student developer pack.
Okay.
So I think I did it an hour ago. I don't know if it's been activated or not. I didn't get any mail.
Oh, it wouldn't be, because first it will be validated whether you have updated your skills also or not, and then post that you'll get an email, right? So just everybody who's logged in right now, just keep checking your emails, because you'll be regularly getting the emails from us, because that's the way we communicate with you. So be watchful of your email box every day. Keep watching these emails, because you'll be getting a lot of emails around tech sessions that are starting next week, a lot of project guidance session and the mentoring sessions that would be happening in. So just keep watchful of your email box and looking for these communications. So I think we can wrap up the session. We are 30 minutes ahead of what we planned.
Hello.
So all the best, students. Right? If you have any questions, we are all there for you. Write it at support@futurereadytalent.in, post it on GitHub discussion forum, and you have a lot of these sessions now happening in. Log in and ensure that you complete your internship. All the best from my side.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, Rohit. Quickly, the last question we are going to take.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have got the GitHub mail, FRT mail for GitHub developer pack, and I have applied through it. But GitHub has rejected my claim on it, and I have given them, means they have told me that the document was not sufficient, so I gave them another document of my college only. I have tried it for nearly 18 times. They have rejected all of it.
Okay. So Rohit, I have noted down your name. Just do one thing for me.
Yes,
just write it to support@futurereadytalent one more time today, right? I'll take this
Okay,
up with
ma'am.
them.
And ma'am, I also completed my AZ that FRT module. I have completed my 3 modules till now.
Okay, great. Very good. So keep learning, right? In the meanwhile, let me
Yes,
get
ma'am.
this issue resolved for you.
Okay, ma'am.
Right? So just write on
Thank you.
support@futurereadytalent.com. Just mention that what are the proofs that you have submitted, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
And let me take this up with the team.
Ma'am, I have one last doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Right. If you have any more questions, do post it in the chat window and just, or maybe you can just go and put it on the discussion forum and we'll be able to answer those questions.
Ma'am, I have one last doubt.
Yeah.
If I activate my GitHub student developer pack using my university email address, even then do I have to complete at least one course in the MS Learn Azure track?
Yes.
Okay.
See, Azure skills is basically, so it's like that I don't know Azure and I go on LinkedIn and type Microsoft Azure as a skill, right? It would be like I don't have that skill, but still I updated because I wanted GitHub student developer pack. Right?
Okay,
so therefore you should have at least, sorry, go ahead.
Got it, ma'am, actually.
Right? So you should first attain that skill, then you should update that skill, and then you should claim for student developer pack. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much, and thanks all the students.
Thanks everybody. All the best, guys, for your projects. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, ma'am.